First of all, as it relates to the Chinese balloon, we shot it down because it needed to be shot down because we were confident that it was used by China to spy on the American people. We will maintain the perspective that we have in terms of what should be the relationship between China and the United States. That is not going to change, but surely and certainly that balloon was not helpful, which is why we shot it down.
I mean, Tomi, does it really inspire confidence?
No, but it was not helpful. It was helpful to China, and I'm glad that you brought up Blinken and talking about China and this diplomacy, because let's not forget that balloon traversed the United States for several days. Biden knew about it, but they didn't want to say anything because they didn't want to have an issue because Blinken was supposed to meet with China, and then they were afraid that maybe that would look bad. So now they've postponed it. Now there's tough talk to China. So that's great. I'm sure we're going to get a whole lot out of that. But our vice president, I have never heard someone say so many words that have so little meaning and give us so little information ever in my life. That's actually a skill that she has, and it's quite remarkable. Another thing that really bothers me, though, again, going back to this discussion, they decided the search is over, but we still don't know what the objects were. We had President Biden the other day tell us he's not really sure what they are, but he's sure that those ones weren't China. Well, if you're not sure what they are, how do you know whose they are? That's the big concern, and they just don't seem to care.
Well, and to your point, I mean, China flew this before Blinken was supposed to go to Beijing, so it's kind of, a middle finger to him. But, I mean, Chris, if we're shooting things down, if we're using military resources to do so, I mean, shouldn't we know what we're shooting down?
We absolutely should know. I mean, all we do know now is if you have a weekend balloon club called the Balloon Brigade,
the bottle cap
you're on notice.
Brigade.
We may send an F-22 fighter jet to put a Sidewinder missile in it.
Kamala Harris is so painful to watch. I cannot believe this woman, this incompetent, clueless individual, is the vice president of our beautiful, great United States of America. She is an installed vice president, just like Biden is an installed commander-in-chief. And she is not qualified for this job. And it is insulting to women. It should be insulting to African-American women, too, that this woman was brought into this role plainly because she is a black woman. Joe Biden said that. We need to be picking people for jobs that are actually qualified for those jobs, that can actually speak cognitive, competent sentences with softball questions and friendly journalists like MSNBC. She can't even put together a fruitful thought. And it's insulting to women of her demographic that she was chosen for this job because of what she looks like, not because of her skill set. And there are so many more people more qualified for this role than Kamala Harris. She is an abysmal embarrassment to this nation.